Hi guys, welcome to the first subscriber question. This first subscriber question actually comes from the YouTube comments, and I'm going to be selecting these from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those kind of social media platforms that I'm on, and those are all linked down below. If you want to have a better shot of your question selected, then feel free to ask it on all of them if you want. Alright, so the first question actually comes from our new subscriber, Doughboy Smash. Now, Doughboy Smash was asking about resistance training and cardio, which one burns more calories? And of course that answer is extremely variable because equating the amount of resistance training to the amount of cardio in terms of time doesn't exactly quite do it. You'd have to do a lot of different calculations to figure that out. The nice thing about steady state is you can figure out how many calories you use in a steady state cardio, and actually have articles and videos explaining a calculation that you can do to figure out how many calories you expend during steady state cardio. However, things get a lot more complicated, unfortunately, when it comes to resistance training. The reason why is because it depends on the amount of volume that you finish within, let's say, an hour of resistance training compared to an hour of cardio. Also, which types of muscle groups you're going to be doing. If you're going to be doing curls and tricep push down the entire time, those aren't very taxing muscle groups. Another one is how much rest time you take. So that's kind of an advantage towards having shorter rest times if you think about it. You might be able to, in the end, within a 1 hour crunch time, you might be able to finish far more sets and reps. Well, maybe not as many reps per set, but more sets, therefore an increase in the total number of repetitions. So there's a bunch of different factors. Another thing to consider is if you're going to be doing cables, or if you're going to be using free weights, or if you're going to be using a hydraulic system. Typically, a hydraulic system is an adaptive resistance system. You're not going to see that in most gyms, but if you were to use that, that would actually probably be one of the best ways to expend the most amount of calories. So most likely you'd see a greatest benefit in calories from that. Another thing, of course, then free weights, also excellent, not quite the same as a hydraulic system, and cables also have their advantages and disadvantages. But all in all, we can say between two relatively normal, acceptable, what you would typically do in the gym, I would say that you'd probably get a slight bigger benefit from resistance training. And that's not necessarily just because of the inter-bout calorie burn. So meaning however many calories you burn running and then how many calories you use during resistance training. You have to think kind of outside of that as well, because we talked about this before, but excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, so EPOC, tends to be considerably higher for resistance training than a steady state cardio session. So that's point number one for resistance training. Another thing you have to consider is muscle growth. So of course, muscle growth is a costly process. Your calorie expenditure increases somewhat from that. Then the maintenance of muscle, if you were to continue to do that over and over and over again, especially if you were to never adapt your cardio, so if you were never to increase the intensity as your body gets more accustomed to it, as you become more efficient, then you're essentially seeing an increase in caloric expenditure from muscle growth from resistance training, and you're seeing a caloric decrease in expenditure from your cardio. So you would have to adapt both of them, and even if you adapted both of them, you would still see a greater muscular gain in resistance training. And that said, then just from literal just growth of muscle and then the maintenance of muscle, you'd be expending more calories as well with resistance training. So my answer is going to be resistance training. I can't give you exact numbers specifically, but I would tend towards resistance training. All right, hopefully that answered the question for you and for anybody else who's interested in having that question answered. And if you'd like to give a question that I can answer, hopefully that I can give an answer to, then feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can also post them on my Facebook page, as well as my Instagram and Twitter. I tend to pick Instagram and Facebook specifically, probably more than Twitter. So if you're interested, feel free to drop a comment on there and ask a question, and I will get to it eventually, hopefully. All right, well, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. See ya.